Hello everyone. So in this video we are going to discuss regarding optic orientation, and that means orientation of indicatrix axis with respect to orientation of crystallographic axis for different systems. Then we will go for interference figures. So talking about optical orientation, that means, as I have already told, there are three indicatrix axes: X, let's say X, Y and Z, and crystallographic axis, three axes: A, B, C. A is front to back, B is right to left, C is top to bottom. In different system, talking about biaxial minerals, this optic orientation, that is only for we are studying for biaxial minerals, because in uniaxial mineral I have already told in previous video that the C collides with optic axis, so there are no three vibrations. Here three vibrations are there, X, Y, Z. That's why we are correlating the vibration axis X, Y, Z or indicatrix axis X, Y, Z with crystallographic axis A, B, C. Now the axial relation of different systems, that differs. That is, which systems are are in biaxial system? Which crystal system they are crystallizing biaxial? Orthorhombic, monoclinic and triclinic. Okay, so these three systems, they are having different axial relationship. Like in orthorhombic system, A perpendicular, B perpendicular, C, all are perpendicular, mutually perpendicular at different length. They are having different length. But in monoclinic, what happens? A is at an angle to C which is alpha, that is greater than 90 degree. A angle with C, that is alpha, which is that is not alpha, that is beta. That is beta, which is greater than 90 degree. A perpendicular to B, B perpendicular to C, right? In triclinic, all of the angles, that is A angle C, B angle C, A angle B, all are greater than 90 degree. All are obtuse angles, right? So there are different axial relationship in different system, in these three systems. And optic indicatrix X, Y, Z, they are always perpendicular. X, Y, Z are always perpendicular. Now see if one of them coincides with one of the crystallographic axis in the orthorhombic system. Okay, talking about orthorhombic system, if one of the indicatrix axis or optic axis, not optic axis, indicatrix axis, if that coincides with crystallographic axis of orthorhombic system, if one will coincide, other two will coincide. Why? Because all are mutually perpendicular. But in case of monoclinic, if one will coincide, the other two may or may not coincide. In triclinic, none of them will coincide, right? So we'll see that. So talking about orthorhombic system, you can see there are three crystallographic axes I have already told. So let's move to the figure. You can see here, if X is the vibration direction or indicatrix axis, okay, if X parallels to B, if X coincide with B crystallographic axis, then obviously Z will parallel to C or coincide with C, and A will coincide with Y. Okay, so you can see Z equal to C, Y equal to A, and X equal to B here for orthorhombic system. Okay. Then talking for monoclinic system, you can see here, one of them must coincide with the crystallographic axis. One of the vibration that must coincide with the crystallographic axis. You can see the Y is coinciding with B. Here Y is equal to B, right? Y is equal to B. Then you can see either Z will coincide with C. If there are two cases, if Z will coincide with C, what happens? The X will not coincide with A, because A and C are this angle, this is A, this is C, red color is showing crystallographic axis, this angle is greater than 90 degree, this angle is greater than 90 degree. So if Z will coincide with C, this X will also X will not coincide with A, because that will be somewhat here. But that because Z and X, those are mutually perpendicular, but A and C, those are having obtuse angle with each other. So if Z coincide with C, X cannot coincide with A. If X coincide with A, Z cannot coincide with C. And another case, X will not coincide with A, Z will not coincide with C. This is the diagram showing Z is also not coinciding with C, X is not also coinciding with A. You can see here. So you can see that how you can define the orientation, optic orientation. You can see these blue lines, they are perpendicular. These blue lines, they are perpendicular. A and C, that is having an angle beta. That is having an angle beta, right? So if you have to define the orientation, if you have to define the orientation of this indicatrix axis, any of the indicatrix axis with the crystallographic axis, you should mention like, you can also write like this: A angle C will be equal to beta. A angle C will be equal to beta. How I can define that? This is 90 degree. These blue lines, they are 90 degree. That is equal to 90 degree plus this angle, that is A angle X, minus, you can take angle with Z and C, because that is all that is included in beta. I have add beta with 90 degree. Sorry, I am calculating beta. So 90 degree plus this one minus this one. I have made a mistake here. It should be minus and it should be plus C angle Z. Any doubt? See here, Z and X, they are having 90 degree. Z and X, they are having 90 degree. A and C, those are having angle beta. Beta is from this to this. Okay. So if I have to calculate beta using optic orientation, that means optic axis, the indicatrix axis and their respective angles with the crystallographic axis, I have to define beta. So how to define the relation? Beta will be equal to 90 minus this much plus this much. What that? Because from here to here, that is 90, but this is not included in beta. Okay, and this is included in beta. So it should be plus, it should be minus to define beta. So the optic orientation is beta is equal to, okay, this one. This one is the optic orientation of this diagram. Got that? One of the optic axis that must coincide with the crystallographic axis. Like here, y is equal to b. Then moving to triclinic system, the three axes, they are at obtuse angle with each other. The positive ends of optic axis, they are at that means plus A, plus B, plus B, plus C, plus A, plus C, all are obtuse angles. All are obtuse angles. So, the none of the indicatrix axis, you can see X, Y and Z, none of them are coinciding with A and B and C. A, B and C. Okay, this is for triclinic minerals. Here you can also define the orientation by taking the angles. That is similar in case of monoclinic, when we have defined A and C, right? In the previous diagram, we are defining A and C, angle between A and C. Similarly, you can take in triclinic minerals for A and B, B and C, and A and C. Okay? So not going to details. Then what are the use of indicatrix? How to use indicatrix, or what are the uses of indicatrix? It provides information regarding refractive index and vibration direction. All of you got that in a previous class. We have discussed regarding how indicatrix figure is done taking refractive index in respective vibration directions. So in any random section, let's say the indicatrix is like, we are define prolate and oblate, prolate spheroid, oblate spheroid, right? So the indicatrix is like this. If you combine all the sections, these are circular sections for uniaxial. I am telling, let's say this is a uniaxial indicatrix. This is my C or optic axis, C, or you can say optic axis. So these are the circular sections, and these are the elliptical sections. Two of them are principal. One is AC and this is BC and this is AC. Two of them are principal, others are random sections. Okay. So at any point, this is the indicatrix diagram. At any point, if you take this one, if you take this point, okay, if we are taking a section like this, but that this is for, let's say, we have discussed tetragonal minerals and hexagonal minerals are uniaxial, right? So this is tetragonal. This is a tetragonal mineral. A is equal to B, not equal to C, right? So for this tetragonal mineral, its indicatrix is like this if it is a positive mineral. Prolate is for positive, right? So it is a positive mineral, tetragonal mineral. Its indicatrix is like this. I am taking a section here. Right, in the corner. So that section is, let's say, here. Okay. So if light ray passes through this point, I can get the vibration from this indicatrix. How to get that vibration direction? I have already discussed. O ray that vibrates in basal section or circular section. So which is the circular section? This is the circular section. So this vibration is showing omega. Talking about E ray vibration is principal section, that is in principal section or containing optic axis, right? So this vibration will be for epsilon. Similarly, for any point, if you are taking a section here, you are taking a section here, you are taking a section here, any point in this mineral, if you are defining that point here, you can get the vibration of O and E rays in each points. Okay, light vibrating through this point, that can vibrate in two directions. One is omega, one is epsilon, and that are represented in the indicatrix. So from indicatrix you can get the vibration direction, you can get the refractive index amount. What is refractive index amount? The radius. Then you can get the optic sign, whether the mineral is positive or negative. You can get that from indicatrix. Now moving to interference figure. I have already told you interference figures are different for different minerals. Like uniaxial mineral, they are having different interference figure. Biaxial minerals, they are having different interference figure. And uniaxial mineral, they are having different types. Biaxial mineral, they are having different types. So let's consider, let's define what is interference figure. What is interference figure? The figure is a pattern of bright rings. You can see here, that is a pattern of bright rings and dark bands. Bright rings and dark bands. Okay. So what are the bright rings? Bright rings are isochromes. Bright rings are isochromes. They are formed due to interference. They are formed due to interference. Right? Bright colored rings formed due to interference named as isochromes, and dark bands named as isochromes formed due to extinction, formed due to extinction. So extinction produces isogates and isochrones are produced by interference. Okay. So when it is obtained when an anisotropic mineral is examined under which condition? Crossed nickel condition. Another thing I have discussed in yesterday class, you can obtain interference figure only in conoscopic arrangement. I have described two arrangements, orthoscopic and conoscopic. You can see also here. This is for orthoscopic, this is for conoscopic. You can see in orthoscopic the light rays are perpendicular to stage. The light rays are perpendicular to stage. But in conoscopic you can see by the using of condensing lens or biconvex lens, the light rays they falls in a shape of cone on the crystal or on the mineral plate. Then those are vibrating, they are moving away from each other. So we are using Butted lens or removing ocular to increase the field of view, or to see more of the rays. Okay. So this is the setup for interference figure, for viewing interference figure, conoscopic element. This is orthoscopic, that is the general setup. So we have discussed that in interference figure we are going to see interference color as well as extinction. Interference color as well as extinction. Interference color in isochrones, extinction in isogates. Now let me know whether you can see both of the thing at a time. If you are viewing a mineral section, can you see both interference and extinction at a time? Yes. How?
Alternating interference and extinction.
See, I am talking about this is the let me define or let me clear that. If we are viewing in orthoscopic arrangement, that is general setup of microscope, either you can see the interference or you can see the extinction. As I have discussed in previous class that interference is taking place due to the interference of emergent E rays. Those are emerging from the analyzer. Okay. And extinction is due to matching of vibration of mineral and upper polar and lower polar. Right. So what happens? You can see only interference or only extinction only in case of orthoscopic arrangement. To view both interference and extinction we are using conoscopic arrangement. Because that is cone shaped light, when you are going to see extinction, if let's say this is the mineral section, right, and here optic axis is like this. If I am giving orthoscopic arrangement, you can see all of the rays, these are vibrating parallel to optic axis. So if extinction will happen, the entire stage becomes dark. Because when the light rays are parallel to optic axis, they will be passing through an isotropic section, so they will be hindered by the analyzer and you will view extinction, you will view dark stage. Okay. Because we are providing conoscopic arrangement, you can see only this ray, the center ray, the ray which is at the center, that is parallel to optic axis. All of the others, they are at an angle. To the optic axis. You can see extinction when light ray parallel to optic axis. In all of the other direction you are going to see interference. Okay. So we'll see how we are getting both interference and extinction. But this is the requirement. Because of which we are using conoscopic. You cannot see interference figure in orthoscopic. Because it is a combination of interference and extinction. You have to see both interference and extinction at a particular instant. So you have to use conoscopic arrangement, so that one of the ray or some of the ray which are vibrating parallel to polarizer and analyzer, and others are vibrating at an angle, so that you can calculate their resultant which are passing through the analyzer, and there is interference of E rays, so you are viewing the color. Okay, so these are the concepts of interference figure, definitions and requirements of interference figure. And what are the uses? You can know between uniaxial and biaxial mineral. You can determine the optic sign. You can determine the 2V angle for biaxial minerals. Okay. These are requirements, as I have told. You should use conoscopic arrangement. There is use of condensing lens to produce conoscopic light. There is use of buttered lens to increase the view, okay, stage view, right, to collect more of the removing rays removing from the mineral. Okay, this is an optical microscope. You can see the position of conoscope or condensing lens that must be below the stage. Condensing lens must be below the stage to produce cone shaped light. Buttered lens is in between the eyepiece. Okay, buttered lens is in between eyepiece, that is above analyzer. You can see in this diagram also, that is above analyzer. Buttered lens that is used above analyzer. And talking about ocular, these are the ocular lens, the eye lens, right? You can remove that also. Okay, we have discussed isochrones are rings of interference color. These are rings. Why these are rings? Why they are forming rings? Why not lines? Because the cross section of a cone, we have already discussed, that is a cone shaped light. If you are taking the cross section of a cone, that will be a circle. Cone is like this. If we are cutting that in a section, that will give you a circle, that will give you a circle or ring. Okay, so that is isochrones are rings of interference color, rings of different colors, and those colors, they will increase in intensity, they will increase in order from center to outward. Got that? I have done this diagram before. If this is the optic axis, one of the light ray that passes through the optic axis, that produces your darkness, right? This light ray, they are at some angle to optic axis, and these are similar, right? This is it. I am taking theta, that means that is a cone. In 3-dimensional, that is a cone. In 2-dimension, I am showing 2 rays. 3-dimension, if we are considering, that is a cone, right? So one cone is at one angle theta. For one cone, you can define one angle. This is a different cone. So for this, there is another angle. Let's say this is theta 1, this will be theta 2. For next, that will be greater, theta 3. Right? This angle is, I am defining this angle with the cone axis, or you can say with the optic axis, because the cone axis is parallel to optic axis here. Okay? So now you can see that the angle is increasing for the cones. The angle is increasing substantially, right? Angle is increasing for cones. So when the angle will increase, the ray has to pass more distance within the crystal, right? If this is the crystal, when it is moving straight, it is moving lesser distance or least distance. When it is at an angle, then it will pass through greater distance, more angle, more the distance it has covered in the mineral. So the birefringence means change in refractive index, retardation means distance between the, or path distance between the two rays, slow and fast rays. So the path difference, that will increase. The retardation, that will increase with increase in theta, right? With increase in angle, the retardation will increase, and with increase in retardation, there is increase of birefringence. there is increase of interference color. Okay, if theta will increase, the ray will pass more through the crystal, pass more distance through the crystal. So the birefringence is higher and the mineral show higher order interference color. Mineral show higher order interference color. So talking about the first angle, what I have told, theta 1. Okay, this center part is your zero retardation, which is passing through the optic axis. The light ray which is passing through the optic axis, that is showing zero retardation. Because why it is showing zero retardation? Because there is no double refraction. In the optic axis direction there is no double refraction, so that is showing zero retardation. If we are moving away from the optic axis, if we are moving away from this dark point, you are increasing in order. Your interference color is increasing in order. Why? Because the retardation is increasing. The retardation is increasing with increase in angle. Got that? With increase in this angle of the cone, the retardation will increase, so the interference color order that will increase. Okay, that's why you are viewing at the center, which is known as melatope, that is the zero retardation point or the dark point. And away from the melatope, as you are moving away from the melatope, there is circular rings of interference color known as isochrones, and they are increasing in order from the center to outward. Got that? Then types of figures. I have told you that in uniaxial figures there are different type of optic axis, different type of interference figure. In biaxial also there are different type of figures. So that depends upon which section you are taking. If you are taking basal section, that means that is the optic axis figure. If you are taking any principal section, that is optic normal figure. Okay, I will go to different types, but the type they are defined by the orientation of the mineral grain or orientation of the section. Okay, so you can see what are the parts of a interference figure. So you can see the center part, that is known as melatope, which is zero retardation point. Moving away from the away from the melatope, you are finding colored rings which are increasing in order. Those are known as isochrones. How to define their order? By using Michael-Lewis chart. Michael-Lewis chart is used for defining the order of interference color. Now isogyres, these are produced due to extinction. Then extinction is produced when the vibration direction of mineral is parallel to vibration of polarizer and analyzer. Right? The lower and upper polarizer. When vibration of mineral is parallel to vibration of lower polarizer and upper polarizer, or polarizer and analyzer. So in which position the vibration is matching, in which position of the section the vibrations are matching, that depends upon at which position isogyre will be seen. Right? You can see in this diagram. So this diagram is showing what I have told, that is increase in interference color. You can see the angles there. You can see the cross section of a cone, that is a circle. For a circle you are getting an isochrome. For a circle or for a cone of light with angle theta, you are getting an isochrome. For a single circle there is one angle. Okay, so there are different angles. This is of one angle, this is of one angle. The cones are increasing in radius. Okay, and this is the optic axis, which is shown by position of melatope. I have told that is the zero retardation point represented by M or melatope. That is the position of optic axis. Now I am going to show you how the isogyres are formed. Okay, so you can see here these sections are when it is optic axis figure, let's say it is optic axis figure. This diagram is for optic axis figure of uniaxial mineral. Optic axis figure of uniaxial mineral. Right. So how uniaxial mineral can be defined? It's tetragonal. It's tetragonal.